Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from Esports News, Exportation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a recap of what went down during this weekend's matches in the CDL in Week 4 of Stage 2 of the 2026 CDL season. Now, without further ado, let's get into everything that went down this weekend. We had a pretty interesting weekend across the board. As you guys can see, I did pretty decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. And of course, that means there were 5 losses. We get about 11 matches per week. So I'm hitting about 55-ish% if my math is correct there. Hopefully it is, right? But anyways, let's get into how the weekend went down, because you guys can see I started off pretty hot with an exact correct prediction, but I fell short in the FaZe Vegas versus LA Thieves series. Let's check everything out. Let's first claim our 500 G stakes creds for the day. Let's go check out our G stakes, see how we did this weekend. I know we got slammed.
Embarrassing! Call decline.
Oof, losses were piling up.
Embarrassing! Call decline.
So let's look this up. We placed on the third. So Surge versus C9 won that. Thieves versus FaZe Vegas lost that one. Heretics versus G2 won that. Mates versus G2 lost that, obviously. No one expected Mates to lose. FaZe versus OpTic. I changed it last minute because I just felt like betting on the underdog. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawn. Toronto versus Riyadh. I changed that one up too because I thought Toronto would win. I thought Toronto was looking pretty good. Thought they would get a dub. Breach versus Cloud9. Breach, stuck with that. Thieves versus Heretics. I bet on Thieves. Interesting. Did I take Heretics in my bracket? No, I was thinking Thieves. Okay. So yeah, that's how the weekend went down. But let's get into the series and let's actually dissect some interesting ones, right? Not going to make this the longest video of all time. I say every week, and then somehow the videos always get longer, right? So let's look at the C9 versus Surge series. Looking at it, of course, you can see that who else but Lunars, the guy who I've been singing the praises of pretty much all year, was a standout for the Vancouver Surge. And not going to get too deep into this one, right? C9, there's not really a lot to take home from a lot of their series. They are just trying to get some attention, maybe get picked up by another team. So Nezra looks to be the best player on that C9 squad, followed by Encourage. And then on the Vancouver side, you had TJ going 92 and 70, and then Lunars 79 and 57. TJ, you could argue, was a standout, but Lunars had the better KD, so that's why he's automatically placed as MVP. So the map one, it was a very close one, honestly, 250 to 203 in favor of the Vancouver Surge. Of course, behind Lunars going 24 and 20. Gwinn was 31 and 26, and so on and so forth. Nezra was 32 and 24. This one's kind of interesting because I feel like watching Nezra on the minimap, he just kind of was baiting his teammates. So wasn't really the biggest fan of how Cloud9 played this. Speaking of map 2, the Den S&D, of course, Lunars was 8 and 2. Another takeover game for him in the series. 8 and 6 from Tej, Gwinn 6 and 2. And then on the Cloud9 side, Okus went even, best player on their end, right? Map 3, Scar Overload. Nezra was a standout on the C9 side. He went 33 and 23 for the dub. They won it 3-2. Very close. It was overtime that the Vancouver Surge ultimately ended up choking. And yeah, it was just really a super close game. On the other side, TJ went 33 and 26 for the L, and Lunars kept it up, going 27 and 22. Then in the last game of this series, we had TJ going 28 and 14 for the dub, and then on the other side, Nezra went 22 and 17, and everybody else went negative, and then Lunars 20 and 13, and Capsule went even. So that's the first series of Friday. The second one, of course, we had FaZe Vegas taking on the LA Thieves, and honestly, I wasn't expecting FaZe to win, as you guys saw. I thought that the LA Thieves would get a 3-2 victory over FaZe Vegas, but FaZe's S&D is definitely looking solid, right? So, not surprisingly, Simp was series MVP, 1.08 KD, 97 kills, 90 deaths. Then on the other side, the best performer for the LA Thieves was Nium with 97 and 82. followed by Scrap with 92 and 85. Draza and Simp, of course, were the standouts for the FaZe side. Draza, excuse me, was 93 and 90, and Simp was 97 and 90. So, looking at this series, it was a really fun one. We had a Den HP going all the way to the wire as a 7-point game, 250 to 243, going in favor of FaZe Vegas. Of course, Simp went 37 and 27. Not surprising from him. Another hemp performance, right? And then Scrap on the other side for LA Thieves was the best player with 32 and 27, and Nium was right there with them with 31 and 30. BZ and Hydra both had about 28, so just a really close game for everybody. Everybody showed up. Map 2, Den S&D, of course, he had 9 and 5 from Nium, Scrap 9 and 7, Hydra 9 and 7, and BZ 6 and 7, so a lot of parity there for the Thieves, and then Abuza was the only player on FaZe to really have a good game. He went 10 and 9. So that's how Thieves won 6-4. 6-3 was the score for the Scar Overload in favor of the LA Thieves. They just absolutely destroyed them. 28 and 27 from Simp, but everybody else went negative. And then on the LA Thieves side, Nium went crazy, 39 and 18, and then Scrap was 26 and 19. So that's how we got to map 4 where FaZe, they blacked out on Blackheart, and they went 250 to 164 up to force the game 5. Draws went 35 and 22. 04 was 30 and 21. And then on the other side, Abizu is the only player positive with a 1.19, going 32 and 27. In the game 5, FaZe absolutely destroyed them. It was 6-1. Abuza went 11 and 2. Simp was 7 and 5. Draza was 4 and 4, and 04 was 4 and 4. So yeah, they absolutely cooked them. And Abizu is 1 and 7. So that's tough. Speaking of tough, the Miami Heretics, they said that Vamos is here. We are not going to lose to G2. They 3-0'd them in insane fashion. We're not going to go too deep into this because, I mean, yeah, there's not a lot to go into. Super just went really deep in them, 75 and 48, 1.56, and then, of course, Rancor 61 and 51, Drake 62 and 54, and Metals had a bad series, 52 and 68. Then on the other side, Estral is the only player to go positive, 69 and 60. Looking at the map 1, Scar HP, you had Estriel as a standout with a 33 and 25 for the Rockers side, but the Heretics obviously took it because they won the series 3-0. So 30 and 24 from Super, 28 and 23 from Rancor, and 28 and 24 from Drakes. That's how they got it done. Everybody on Rocker, of course, was negative, except for Estriel, like I mentioned. Looking at the map 2, Super had a super map, 12 and 7. It was around 11. That rhymed. But yeah, Miami went down pretty bad. Maybe it was like 5-1 or something, and they somehow won this game. So Minnesota, this was an absolute breaker performance from them in the map 2. And yeah, that should never, ever happen, right? Rancor's 8 and 6, Super's 12 and 7. And like I said, they were down like 5-1 or something. So yeah, just embarrassing from the G2 side. They looked like they were in firm control, and then they just let them peel off every subsequent round. So, the Miami Heretics took all that momentum. It changed into the game 3, 1-6-3, Super 33 and 17, Drake's 27 and 22, and Rancor 25 and 22. Everybody on G2 went negative. So, G2, they surprisingly rebounded after playing the last match of Friday and came in playing the first match of Saturday, and they went from getting 3-0 to 3-0ing. So, that was kind of interesting. Sib, of course, was 75 and 59 for the mates, 1.27 on him. And then everybody on G2 went positive, with Skies being the standout 75 and 57 with a 1.32. So Caesar Skies is officially back, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean, I'm here for it, The map 1 went 250 to 240 in favor of G2 Minnesota. Of course, G2 came out really hot. Skies, he blacked out. Kremp, he blacked out. 40 and 36 from Kremp, 41 and 32 from Skies. Mamba 36 and 34, and Astro 29 and 30. Then on the other side, you had everybody on the mates with the exception of Sib going negative. Sib had a 1.21 going 40 and 33. And then everybody on the mates went like relatively negative with the exception of Ghosty, who was 26 and 40. Now, in the map 2 raid S&D, we of course had Neptune going 8 and 6 and Ghosty going 7 and 6. They were the only people to go positive on that side. And then the G2 side, of course, they won this one. We know they won 3-0. So 6-5 in their 6-3, in their favor. Behind 10 and 5 from Estriel, 8 and 5 from Skies, and an even performance from Mamba. So, Speaking of even performances, we did not have an even performance on both ends because the mates did not show up and they did not shoot their guns. Envoys 15 and 26. Then on the other side, you had Skies going 26 and 20, Kremp going 28 and 25, and Mama going 21 and 20 to help G2 get a 5-2 overload victory, where Sib was the only player on the mate shooting. He had a 1.55 with 31 and 20. So he was untradeable, but didn't matter. His team just didn't show up. Looking at our next matchup, another 3-0. Are you guys noticing a theme?
DoorDash,
Three straight 3-0s. And wait, there's more. I'm sorry, not to quote Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. So yeah, OpTic, they absolutely destroyed FaZe. Huke looks like the best player in the world by a wide margin. 1.4 KD, 77 and 55. I mean, he just absolutely torched them. Everybody on FaZe went negative. Simp 51 and 66, worst series he's had in a minute. And then Abuza, their best player, was 57 and 61. So just a terrible day for FaZe and a great day for OpTic. Dashy had a 1.22, 62 and 51. Shotzi 64 and 56. And then Merc had like his lowest performance in a minute. 54 kills, 58 deaths. He didn't even do bad. He still did pretty well. It's just like relatively for him, that's a low kill. Because we'll see later in the weekend, I think he dropped like, I don't know how much like damage he dropped, but he dropped a lot of kills later in the weekend. So anyways, 250-190 in favor of OpTic Texas on map 1. Of course, not surprising to anyone, right? OpTic has been looking to be far and away the best team in the world, and FaZe, their hard point is, it's okay, but it leaves a lot to be desired. So, speaking of people who left a lot to be desired, you had Abuza and Draza, the Zaza duo, going -2, so not really that bad. But 04 was 35 and 30, Simp was 28 and 27, so if you get a little bit more out of those two, maybe the game's a little bit different. If you also let Huke go 37 and 27, and Shotzi go 31 and 29, the game's probably a lot different too, because Merc and Dashy both put up .7s. Looking at the map 2, Scar S&D. Den S&D, of course we had Dashy going 8 and 2, getting that 1v2 against Simp and Draza, I think it was. Anyways, he was hitting insane snipes. Merc was 7 and 3, and Shotzi and Huke were both 5 and 4. So in the last map, we had Scar Overload. Not really surprising. Teams love playing Scar Overload. So Dashy went 32 and 20. Huke went 35 and 24. Shotzi went 28 and 23, and Merc was 22 and 23. So on the FaZe side, of course, everybody went negative. Yeah, I mean, Draws put up 27, but you lost. So yeah, GG. I mean, maybe it's time to bring in a Luka, try something out. And yeah, I mean, we got another 3-0. So yeah, the Falcons, they 3-0'd Toronto Koi to the surprise of absolutely everyone. Insert shocked Pikachu gif here. Yeah, so everybody on the Toronto Koi side went very, very negative. Kips neg 10, Kleenex neg 15, Insight neg 14, and then Joe was negative. God damn, he was neg 18. So on the Riyadh Falcons side, you had Mr. King Cobra selling 1.49, 52 and 35. Talk to him nice. He cannot be traded. A minute and 56 seconds. I'm sorry, 156 seconds in the hill, which equates to about 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So yeah, I mean that's pretty typical. It's pretty typical. So Exnid 63 and 48. He's become their top slayer, and you love to see that. Kismet 56 and 43, and then Pred 61 and 49. So, in the map 1, Blackheart HP. I'm not sure why Toronto allowed Blackheart HP through when they've just been den farmers. Like, they've been den merchants this whole time. I'm like, why wouldn't you just try to get, like, a Colossus or something else in there? But it is what it is. Sellium went 25 and 15. Exim went 31 and 23. And then Pred was 28 and 24 for all the positive players on the Riyadh Falcons. Kiz was neg 3, but yeah, everybody on the Toronto side, as you would probably expect, right, where you lose by 90 points, they were negative by a factor of, not a factor, they were negative by a lot. Well, not a lot. They were negative. They all went negative. So looking at map 2, of course, the lone player to go positive on the Koi side was Kleenex. He was marginally positive, though, 9 and 8, so it wasn't like he made a massive, massive difference like that, right? He was just getting a good amount of kills, but, you know, they didn't win the map, so they were all for naught. So looking at the Riyadh Falcon side, you had Kiz going 11 and 7, 7 and 5 for Exnid, and Pred 8 and 6. Fun fact: this match occurred like the week I played Kismet. He was on the sniper, And when I played him in S&D earlier that week, he was sniping against me in pubs. So I will say, technically, I warmed up the Bulldog for this match. Anyways, exposure, map 3, overload. The Bulldog was hot. He was frying. He was cooking. 26 and 14, 1.86 on him. Everybody on the Toronto Koi went negative. 21-13 out of King Kobe and 25-19 out of Pred. Excellent, of course, 25-20. So great showing from the Riyadh Falcons. They can definitely build off of that. And yeah, to kick off our last matchup of Saturday, we had the Boston Breach taking on Cloud9 New York. Of course, Purge had the series of his life. Could not replicate that the next day, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And they got a really, really much needed 3-1 victory over a Cloud9 New York team that you expect to just keep losing, right? Anytime they win is definitely insert shocked Pikachu gif city. But yeah, let's look at the box score. Everybody on C9 went negative, as we all would expect, right? And then on the Boston Breach side, positive 30, 104 and 74, 1.41 KD, Snoopy, his SMG duo, 105 and 79, and then Spart 86 and 72, and Nasty 77 and 70. So Nasty has taken a considerable step back in terms of like the kills. Obviously, he had the most damage behind Purge and this team, right? But in terms of like his actual kill tally on the leaderboard, he's not putting up the numbers that he was before, which means that this team is definitely getting better. They're developing a system. So looking at the map 1, of course, we had the Boston Breach winning the Scar HP to the surprise of absolutely no one on Earth. They won at 250 to 176, behind Snoopy going 36 and 21, and Nasty complimenting him with 27 and 21. So Sparta at 25 and 20, obviously, as you guys could see, and then Purge went neg 8. On the other side, Hyde went even, and that's the best that the C9 New York boys could do. So, looking at the map 2, Colossus S&D, this of course went the way of Boston Breach, as no one is surprised by, right? Spart 7 and 2, Snoopy 11 and 5, and then Purge and Nasty did pretty well. So Purge went 8 and 5, and Nasty was even 3 and 3. Not a lot to do for Nasty on this new team, right? You see his kills considerably dropping off a cliff with each passing map. So in the map 3, of course, you had the C9 New York boys taking over. Nezra went nuts, 26 and 29, and their objective efficiency was definitely there. So they were able to translate all of their kills into efficient scores, and they were able to push this one to OT as well. And yeah, they were able to win it. So they pushed it to a 4th map, which kind of pissed me off because this series was just it was not it. Let's call it a spade, chat. So yeah, it was 3-2 in favor of C9 New York. Of course, Purge went 33 and 21, Snoopy 35 and 24, Spart 25 and 22, and then Nasty 20 and 19. So they massively outslayed them, but they still lost. So kind of interesting. Anyways, speaking of massively outslaying them, Purge dropped 43 and 20 on Colossus, Spart 29 and 28, Nasty 27 and 27, and Snoop 23 and 29. And then everybody on C9 New York went negative to lose that map in pretty decisive fashion to go down 3-1 in the series. Now, we kicked off our matches on Sunday with Miami Heretics taking on the LA Thieves. Of course, I was thinking Thieves, but the Heretics were able to take their Vamos and give it straight to Miami. So looking at the scoreboard, you can just, of course, see that Rancor was a standout 95 and 81, 1.17 KD, and then, of course, his Rookie of the Year co-duo, Super 85 and 83 right behind him, and their possibly Rookie of the Year teammate, Trakes, was 94-94. So on the LA Thieves side, you have another person who's contending for Rookie of the Year, Nium being the only person to stand out on that side of the board, right, and get any sort of positive KD going, right? So looking at the map 1, of course, this is where we all agreed that Hydra super scammed. Otherwise, they would have won this series. 30 and 24 from Trakes, 27 and 23 from Super, Rancor 26 and 23, and Metals 24 and 27. So yeah, Heretics played their game on Den, great Den team, and they won. 26 and 24 from Nium, Abizi 26 and 26, and Scrap had the same scoreline. And Hydra, like I said, 19 and 31, so just a really bad map for him. Speaking of a bad map, of course, the LA Thieves had another bad map because they had Miami down they were down 5-4 to Miami. They forced around 11, and then they lost it. So Super absolutely went nuts along with Trakes, 12 and 7 for Super, 12 and 8 for Trakes. And then on the LA Thieves side, no one had a bad game. They just lost. They gave Super 2 free snipes at the end of the game. Fun fact. Scrap gave them the last freebie, and yeah, that was it. Looking at the map 3, Scar Overload, you of course have this going 3-1 in favor of the LA Thieves. Of course, Nium went 35 and 20. He blacked out and Overload again, so he's looking to be an Overload guy, right? Hydra 31 and 23, and then on the other side, Rancor was 31 and 25 for the L. Now on the map 4, the LA Thieves chained that momentum to force a game 5. Of course, Scrap was 27 and 21. His AR duo and Nium was the 27 and 22. And then Hydra and Abizi both dropped 25 kills. So both the duos had like the same output in terms of kills, right? The deaths were different, but the kills were definitely synced up. Looking at the Miami side, of course, you had Super being the only standout going positive with a 1.09 KD and everybody else getting fried. And then in game 5, they hashtag traded places. Miami said, we're going to fry. And then LA Thieves said, okay, we'll get fried. So everybody on the LA Thieves went negative. Rancor went 11 and 2, Trakes 8 and 4, Super 4 and 3, and Metals went 4 and 8 to close out that game 5. Now, we had the Toronto Koi taking on the Boston Breach in our next matchup, and it was a very, very quick 3-0. Of course, Insight was 72 and 35. He went absolutely nuclear. I mean, wow, that's one of the highest KDs we've seen in a while. So Insight is definitely back. Kips was he had a 1.22, excuse me. He went 62 and 51. Kleenex was 58 and 50, and Joe was 57 and 52. But yeah, Insight putting up a 2.06 against a team that's as good as this Boston Breach team is definitely very surprising. So yeah, you gotta respect that. Speaking of Insight, of course, he blacked out on the map 1, Scar HP, 33 and 17, 27 and 25 from Kips, his supporting AR player, and then Kleenex went even. On the other side, Snoopy was 30 and 26, and Nasty was 28 and 25. In the map 2, you of course had Raid S&D going the way of the Toronto Koi. Insight went 8 and 3, Kips 7 and 7, Joe 6 and 7, and Kleenex went even. And on the other side, Spart was the only player to go positive. He went 8 and 7, excuse me. In the map 3, Den Overload, where this ended, Joe Deceives was doing 360s on it. Yeah, I mean, they were just going crazy. Insight 31 and 15, Joe 30 and 17, Kips 28 and 19, and Kleenex 28 and 20 for the dub. I mean, Boston, you're just kind of left in a weird place, right? Like, you're looking really good with Spart, and now you're just kind of like, okay, like Ocus, whatever, whatevs, dude. Anyway, speaking of whatevs, dude, we had OpTic Texas saying whatevs, dude, and letting Huke off the leash permanently. The Nuke is absolutely the best player in the world right now, and the best player on the best team in the world. So, pretty clear how we got there, right? Anyway, speaking of how we got there, Huke was the reason why we got there. He had a 1.21 KD. Mercules, the savior of OpTic, had a 1.08. And then Shotzi, the face of OpTic, had a 1.08 as well, 94 and 87. So yeah, on the other side, Exceed, the BK, was the only one to stand out with a 1.08. Looking at the map 1, Blackheart HP. This was the first time we got to see OpTic play this in the CDL. Oh, also, we got to see Miami play a map and mode that they hadn't played yet, which was Colossus S&D in the previous series, which is pretty cool. In one of the previous series. Anyways, 250 to 233 in favor of the Carolina Royal Ravens. Craze blacked out. He was playing super weird. If you saw that clip of Pred reacting to Shotzi getting killed by Craze on this map, then you know what I'm talking about. 41 and 26 out of Craze. 24 and 24 out of Lurks, Exceed 32 and 32, and Nero 23 and 29. Nero started out really slow, but then he turned it up, so gotta respect that. Mercules on the other side was 33 and 27, and Huke, the Nuke, was 37 and 32 for the L. But when you have Shotzi going 19 and 34, it's probably chalked, right? Map 2 in the S&D, Shotzi was definitely not going to let himself chalk 2 maps in a row because he got instant get back. He went 15 and 4. And then Mercules, of course, like I always say, the savior of OpTic, was 10 and 7 to help them get that 6-4 dub. And Dash was 6 and 5. So on the other side, you had Exceed 7 and 7. Obviously, not enough to get it done. In the map 3, Den Overload, Huke overloaded them with kills, 37 and 23, Shotzi 28 and 21, and Merc went even. On the other side, the only player to go positive was Exceed, who went slightly positive by 3 kills. So yeah, I mean, OpTic just absolutely dominated these guys. And speaking of dominating these guys, in the map for Colossus HP, Shotzi was 32 and 28. His SMG duo Huke was 34 and 30, and then Dashy was 26 and 25 to get the dub. On the other side, Exceed was 31 and 27, so just a rough showing for the Carolina Royal Ravens, but you're playing against the best team in the world, so your expectations have to be managed properly. Speaking of expectations not being managed properly, we had the Paris Gentlemaids giving up free cheats 2 times in the same weekend, which no one expected, right? We thought they were the best team in the world after winning Major 1, or one of them, right? Them, FaZe, OpTic, but now them and FaZe are looking like frauds, while OpTic look to be the best team in the world. Speaking of people who look to be the best of something in the world, Gwinn looks like the best of farming the mates on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. on March 8th in the world. 1.47 KD, 115 kills, 78 deaths. I mean, wow, what else can you say, right? Lunars, 95 kills, 76 deaths. And then on the other side, Sib, once again, doing it all in the loss. I mean, he had a positive KD, positive 13 kills, and they still lost. So there it is. Looking at the map 1, we of course kick things off with a Scar HP going the way of the Vancouver Surge. Gwinn blacked out, 43 kills, 22 deaths, 1.95 KD on the Major 1 champs, and they won by 36 seconds. Lunars was 31 and 23, and then TJ was 25 and 32, and Cap was 27 and 31. So they didn't go that negative, honestly. Yeah, Ghosty was 36 and 22, only player to go positive on the mates. Envoy 18 and 37 was definitely the difference maker there. Brother just couldn't buy a kill. Looking at the map 2, Colossus S&D, of course TJ went 11 and 7, 8 and 6 from Cap, Gwinn 7 and 6, and then on the other side, Ghosty was 8 and 7, and Neptune and Sib both went even. So looking at the map 3, Scar Overload, Gwinn went 31 and 27, Lunars 27 and 26, Capsule 28 and 27, and then on the other side, Sib 1.5. This is where they regained the singular map they won in the series, and then Ghosty 31 and 26 to complement his AR duo. So looking at the map 4, where the series ended, we ended on a Den HP. Lunars 36 and 19, Gwinn 34 and 23, TJ 29 and 28, and on the other side you had Sib going 29 and 26 to close out the weekend. So honestly, my key takeaways from this weekend, let's look at the standings and see who all is still in the mix. My key takeaways from this entire weekend are that the Riyadh Falcons are looking better, the LA Thieves are looking more questionable than ever before, Miami Heretics look way better, G2 Minnesota still all over the place, Toronto Koi need to deepen their map pool, Paris Gentlemates, question mark, question mark, question mark, Carolina Royal Ravens, same thing, question mark, question mark, question mark, deepen that map pool. Vancouver Surge look like they're moving up the ladder. The capsule change looked to be good for them. FaZe Vegas, question mark, question mark, question mark. Boston Breach, question mark, question mark, question mark. Maybe you need to change Purge out. Maybe Snoopy. I just don't know. I mean, after that last series, you get flatlined that badly by Koi, and the maps were definitely not disadvantageous to you. I just don't know why you let the Den through. I mean, a lot of these losses for these teams come down to map picks, so I guess that's a thing. But yeah, and then for Cloud9, I mean, just pray. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Those are my takeaways from each team. I feel like I should summarize and give thoughts on each team, like at the end of these videos to make things more succinct. Obviously, the main thought of the season is OpTic is the best team in the world, and everybody else is just basically playing for second. LA Thieves, they're definitely on the come up, but they have holes in their game. Riyadh Falcons, they are on the come up, but they desperately need to improve that S&D, at least on a consistent basis, right? Like their hardpoint looks really good, but the S&D has been iffy, throughout the season. In this stage, it's been really bad, right? 2 and 6, like you got to fix that. Overload 5 and 2. Yeah. I mean, the only team that really looks far and away to be the best in the world right now is OpTic. if you look at all of their mode win rates, they're all in the green. Everybody else only has typically at the most 2 modes in the green. Some teams have 0, right? So yeah, that'll sort of wrap it up for me, guys. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night like I was saying in these videos. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone who you think might also enjoy it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Once again, this is Chris from Fakes versus News X Rotation. I have the flippy knowing these interwebs, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a preview of what to expect going into week 5, our final week of, well, no, not our final week. Week 5, our second to last week of CDL Major 2 quals for CDL Birmingham. So yeah, I'll catch you guys there. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night like I always say. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.